Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Abdul Hafid, and today in this video I'm going to show you what is MCP. So I don't know if you saw this, and I think you are watching this video because you saw what is MCP. So MCP is a new way that we deal with AIs and how can we use LLMs in our ways. So let me now just explain how normally we have been using large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, or anything else, and then I will show you how some developers implemented an advanced way, and then why did we create MCPs. So now let me just get in the context pretty quick. So let's say that we have here an LLM, large language model. Cool. And then you have a simple task that you want to make as a user, which is sending an email. So you go to the LLM with an email, and then the LLM will give you a response for this email, right? And you will take this response as like you and go and send it to someone. And this is a lot of manual work. So what developers have, not developers, let's just talk about like large language models, have implemented a new thing called APIs, right? APIs, keys. So what does this do? It's like you will have this LLM API key, and you will implement this in your own web app. Not just like you can implement it in any app, but for now I'll just stick with web app. And this is your web app, and your web app simply will make what, for example, let's say this is like Gmail. So your web app now simply have this function called maybe send an email, and it will go with the API key to the LLM, like the large language model, and the LLM will respond with a specific email as well, and then your function will send the email. So this is like the modern way. But the problem is that maybe I implemented this way. Maybe another developer have had two other functions, not just one function for sending emails. Like maybe he has a function that will write this email and another function to send it. So the problem is we have different approach for this. So it doesn't make sense that if we both want the same thing, which to automate sending an email, to have two different approaches, and we both get to the same problems. So that's why they created something called MCP, Model Context Protocol. And what is this in a simple way? Is to tell the LLM, could be ChatGPT, anything, that you know what, I have a server, a web, not a web this time, it's called MCP server, and this MCP has different tools. For example, like sending an email function. So what will this do? So when I go to LLM and say that send an email, guess what? They will go to the MCP server and find this function that I have made, and they will fill it with arguments, for example, the content of the email, and this function will do the rest. So maybe you'll tell me, what is the difference between this and this? The difference is this one, I'm talking with the LLM directly. So I'm telling LLM that you can use this type of tool, and you can use this type of resource. But this one, I'm talking with the web app to use the LLM. And this is the first difference. The second difference is actually a protocol for everyone now. So now anyone has a specific tool, for example, sending email, edit an email, and this is just the context of email. They could add it to a specific MCP server and host it, and they tell me that, you know what, if you want to use it with your own LLM, and then I could just call these functions with the LLM. So LLM will simply call these functions by itself. And I think now this is simple understanding, and now we can actually implement a way, or like a Python way with your own Cursor IDE, because Cursor IDE has an MCP feature. So what about we jump on this topic, and now we can actually start. So let's go to the introduction to Model Context Protocol. You can read the documentation, but to be honest, I have already read it. We can go to the SDKs, and we can find that we have multiple SDKs. But for now, I'm just going to use my Python, because I know Python. And I will just go in the Python SDK and read the README file. So they are telling me that I should be using something called UV. So what is UV? UV is like pip, but in a better way. And now I'm going to show how we can actually use pip and everything else like UV in our context. So you should have Python. You can download Python by the Microsoft Store using searching for Python and then download it. I'll show you now pretty quick. So now we can just type Python, and you will find it. Just install it, and that's it. You can install a lot. I have this one, not this one, so I have already this one, and that's all of it. You can go to the CMD and type Python. You will have it in your CMD. But we need another, and Python comes with like a package manager called pip, but we need something called pipx. Pipx is much more advanced, and then from pipx we can download UV. So Python/m pip install pipx. This will install pipx in our machine, and we can use it using also Python/m pip install, pipx install UV. So UV is like a combination of pipx with another great things as well. So now let's just wait for it to download. I will get back when it finishes. Okay, so now as we can see, now we have UV in our device. And the great thing is you don't have to type Python UV, you can just type UV and you will have everything about UV. Cool. So I think now we can just create a project in our folder, like in our desktop, and we can just call it MCP Python. I will then go into it, go to the CMD, and type something called cursor dot. And this simply means that open this folder in Cursor. So it's with yes, and now let's complete. Before we start, let me now explain what are we going to do. So now we will connect our cursor to specific functions that we will create, like specific tools that could Cursor AI use it by itself, and I will show you a demo. So now let me complete everything with this installation. So now I should type UV init, and this function, or I mean this command, will create us a project called MCP server demo, but I have already created a folder called MCP Python. So I'll just type MCP init, UV init dot, and this simply will add a Python file, the Python configurations, etc. With a lot of things. Cool. And then now we can add our UV add MCP CLI, and this is also a cool package that we will be using to start our MCP server. Okay, So here it says to run the MCP command with UV, we have to type UV run MCP. Of course, UV run MCP under the hood is UV MCP CLI UV run MCP CLI MCP the file. So cool. So now let's complete. So now we can go to this quick start, which I'm going to use right here. And for some reason, I have this problem could not be resolved, even though I have installed. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So everything was working fine. The problem is that when I installed the package, it wasn't like it didn't upgrade, you know. So that's what I did, just to close the cursor and open it again. So the last thing we did is we installed by using UV add MCP CLI, and that's all we need now. Okay, after this we just implemented this in our main.py, and then now we can use this MCP server in our Cursor AI in a very easy way. So now we can open the chat, Control I, a new chat maybe. We can go to this, 3 dots, chat settings, MCP tools, and then I could type this edit configuration. And now let me just explain what I did right here. Okay. So simply the command here is UV, because I'm going to use UV. Where did I find this UV.exe? So let's go to the UV.exe in my Windows. I'll find it right here. Or you can just type in your terminal where uv.exe, and you will. Okay. Wait, let me test and where uv.exe. Oh, sorry, UV, it's not UX. UV. So see, we have it in this like specific. We have like in two places. In this place, in my case, and also for this one, you can use any of those. But for me, I'm just going to stick with this one. I'll just copy it, put it here, and for these, I'm just going to do something like this. Cool. Cool. So this is the commands, like me telling Cursor AI when you actually start this Cursor AI, not Cursor AI, I mean Cursor IDE, to go to the MCP servers and put the UV command, and then put an argument after it. So what are the arguments? So the first argument is UV, as we said, run with MCP CLI. Why? Because I want to specify that, listen to me, Cursor, you have to include the MCP SLI, and from the MCP SLI you have to include MCP, and then run the main.py file. It's the same as this one. Where is it? UV run MCP. So it's like me saying UV run MCP run main.py. But I added this to specify to Cursor to know which package to use. So now even if I enter, it will be working in the terminal. So it's me copying what is in the terminal in a JSON format for Cursor settings. And guess what? Now after doing this and saving, we can go to the Cursor settings, and this will load the tools. Wait. Hopefully it works. Should be loading tools pretty fast. Yeah, see? So one tool's enabled now. So what does this mean? Simply, if I create a new chat and I just typed add two numbers 1 and 3, look, it will call the MCP tool that I have created right here, which is add. and I can run the tool, and look, it showed me the arguments that they have entered and and give me back the result. This is super cool. Like, you don't know how much you could do a lot of things using this tool. So simply what we did is we created our main, we have installed UV, we created a UV init, and then we have downloaded the MCP CLI, sorry, and then in the cursor settings I have added the MCP server, which we called demo the same as here, the command of the UV arguments to use, and then suddenly when I started to run my file, everything worked. But the last thing I forgot to mention is from where did I get this? Simply I just clicked on main.py, copy path, and put it right here, and simply I just put another backslash for those. Look, now we can save again and off and on, one tool enabled. So cool. I hope you guys now see how cool this thing is, and I'll just do it again. What about this? Yeah, because it's super cool. It will call the tool, yes, run the tool, and look, that's just super cool, super incredible, to be honest. And that's all of it, I think. Now, so yeah guys, that's how can we implement a simple MCP tool and resource and use it in our cloud Cursor IDE. You can also use it in cloud using these functions, but this is like a simple start so you can understand what are we doing. And that's all of it. I hope you liked this video. I will post more videos about MCP and how can we use other people's MCPs, like maybe Figma, Gmail, etc., and use it in our cloud. I mean, not cloud. I don't know why I always combine cloud with Cursor. It's super bad. I mean Cursor. So thanks for watching this video.